our package.
Right on.
But still, very fun. Looking forward to utilizing some of the new updates for, Rational Acoustic Smart and the lake updates that we've gotten for some of our contours and things like that. So
very, very cool. I know you've got some stuff coming up in the near future, and I'm about to lose you to our shop in Southern California to do some stuff with, well, you did, you had Jeremiah Kearney, their dear, dear good friend from, well, he's actually Australian, but he lives in Canada, working for Adamson, the good people at Adamson, Brock and those kids. And so you're going to go do some, kind of get yourself reacquainted with the E15 system from Adamson?
Yeah, touch back up on some of the PLM networking stuff. Just go over some general rigging things and stuff like that, just to get ready for this tour.
Yeah, I think the last time we had hands on that was with Imagine Dragons, which we've got Kevin Hu out on right now. He just took off with them for us.
Yeah, what a badass. He's been, this guy,
so good.
Kevin Hu, I think came from San Diego shop. And he's been super helpful the whole time he's been up here. I'm like, please don't go.
Yeah, yeah. If I had 10 of him, I'd be freaking unstoppable, man.
Seriously.
I could rule the world. No kidding. Luckily, I got 1.5 of you, and then,
Yeah, there you go. So you just settle for less with me.
No, it's when Kevin Hu comes around, he makes us all look bad because he's just that good, Really so I think he literally transitioned off. Who was it? Was the Lumineers? Yeah. We had him on the Lumineers, and then he immediately. I don't think he even had a dark day. I think he went literally right from the Lumineers, jumped right onto the Imagine Dragons thing. So, and the guy of his caliber and his particular temperament, he's just such a sweetheart. He can make a jump like that. And then we were having a production meeting today, and he, sweet enough to stop whatever he was doing and call in and spit some words of advice to some of the crew that's getting ready for this next thing we're doing. And so he's just that guy, and we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, super helpful, very knowledgeable. We're going to miss you going out on the road, and I hope you guys, your whole camp has a good run at it.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's one of the better guys in the game. Not two ways about it. I got to talk him into thinking he's interesting enough to come and sit in the chair for us because
you should, man.
I talked to him and he's like, I don't have anything to say for 40 minutes. I said, I'm Julie McCoy on this thing. I'm the cruise director. Just come and sit there and I'll deal with the rest. You just trust me on this.
I'll give you a ride.
Yeah. So I just got to get him off the road long enough to push him into a chair and it'll be fun.
I know. I think it's funny, like sitting there for like a year and a half. Yeah. Hearing some change, and like I'm sitting here knocking off the cobwebs, have to go out for training, and just dudes like that are just like, yeah, I'm just ready to go. I don't need it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was talking to Brad Maddox today. We were having a little powwow, and he was saying, I said, what'd you do over the weekend? He said, I was in Capri. I said, Capri, the island. And he said, yeah, I went. I had to do this thing for UNICEF. I said, okay, just break it down. He said, well, I was over there. It was an auction for UNICEF where they auctioned off James Dean's Hot Rod and all these crazy things. And I say, okay, well, who's the acts? And he said, well, I was mixing for your band, John Legend, and for Katy Perry for this one-off for basically, a bunch of rich people. And I said, okay, well, that was probably fun, huh? You know how he is. He's just playing it down so much. Yeah, well, whatever, I'm just trying to get ready for Stevie Nicks. And I said, oh, well, good times, buddy, good times. And I asked him to do one of our catch-up segments. He's like, can I do it in a month when I get back? Because he's doing he's ending the tour at Bottle Rock with the Foo Fighters.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I was like, of course. I mean, shit. You're Brad Maddox. What are we gonna do? Trap you in a room and throw a camera on you?
All we have to say is it must be nice, Brad.
He's earned his space in our industry to be
seriously.
Where he's at. I mean, he's fucking Brad Maddox. 23 years with Rush. Come on, man. That's the catbird seat. So, and we, his office is right there. So I feel very blessed to have him at my disposal to badger and peck at my desire and will.
Speaking of that, we have a bunch of people out on the road. Some of them we've already mentioned, but Eddie Kaipo, one of our old guests, went out. We also got Kevin Hu, like you said, out with Imagine Dragons. Ellen Pettibone, our lighting designer of this show.
I think Kaipo's out with Enrique. He's out with the
he's in Enrique, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alan's out with Primus right now for their Salute to Rush kind of tour.
Yeah.
We got Scott Perlman out with Smash Mouth. He's doing monitors now.
Yeah.
I forget who Chopper Kovich is out
Chopper's
with.
out front of house with Smash Mouth. Actually, I think it's the reverse. Scott does front of house. Chopper does. He's everything.
We're bad
monitors.
friends.
I'm not.
We don't even know your positions.
Really good friend.
I'm just kidding.
Chopper's like my family.
Chopper, you're the shit.
Chopper is a guitar god. He's a good drum god, and he's one of the top monitor engineers in the world. And he happens to be one of the this is a guy you get in a bar room with, and some shit jumps off. If you want Chopper Kovich there, I'm telling you, man, he will friggin' clean the place out and behind protection of the brothers. He's a sweetheart. Just one of the best of us.
Well, other than that, like you said, Brad Maddox was out with Katy Perry, but now it's Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
And you got Greg Price out with Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
You got Drew Johnson. He's still pursuing back out in front of house with Robert Cray.
Yeah.
You got Brian Adorama out with Franny and Spearhead. I think Sam Hurley's transitioned over to Spider Ranch, is doing Little Baby now.
Yeah.
Same with Travis Strain. I heard the baby thing got a little convoluted for some of his dates. So he's hop over to Little Baby.
We won't go on why Da Baby is not working right now.
It's okay.
But apparently the babies are out there. There's enough of them where they can jump off and go to the other baby tour. So, hey, more power to them. I'm just happy my people are working. We'll leave it at that and hope the politics and whatever the nonsense gets sorted.
So to say that, we have plenty of people getting back to work.
Yeah.
The people that aren't out on the road already, we're rooting for you, and you come and check in on us and,
That's right.
and see if we have work. We're looking for people, and we're hoping you guys all have the best of luck at stepping back into this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with him more. I put up the memes on my little group there to kind of bring some levity to the situation, and they're really there as a response to keep people's head straight. And it's why we got the Loving Hands page and a lesser-known group that's for some of our brothers and sisters that are struggling with the absence of the work and the sense of purpose and the things that go with it. So we got this little, reach out to Loving Hands for Stagehands if you need a little pep talk or be around some folks that got some resources to keep your head straight. And somebody reached out and we were talking about, and it was one meme that had caused many of our friends to say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And somebody put up a GIF, and it was that. It felt it. It was like, yeah, nothing yet. And so all I could say is just hang on, man. Your turn's coming. It's just how this works. It's kind of trickling in. We hope that the science stays good and that people start doing the right things to make it so we can continue to do what we do for a living and enjoy what we do, and then go out and help create memories for them. And so just hang on, man. This is if you love what you do, you have no choice. This is what we do, and we're here for the long haul, and it's gonna get better.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And then some nice things that came from COVID is a lot of material that you can go back and read or rewatch now. Like you got Robert Scoville's Lab. Mm-hmm. You had it stuck in with the Digico, which I thought was incredibly helpful. Just hearing some of Tater and Pooch's ways of approaches certain things, the sound check mode and stuff like that. To even Rational Acoustics got a whole spread of seminars now, all posted on their stuff for free.
Yeah, really wonderful resource. Rational Acoustics, cannot say enough about them. I know I threw you over at them to refresh your skills with some smart training. They touch on so many different things, immersive audio, blah, blah, blah. They just really covering a lot of bases. Great resource. And you mentioned, let's not jump too fast past wrong end of the snake with Kevin Tater Walsh and our lovely Ken Van Durden Pooch. That show is extraordinary. If you want to get into the ones and zeros of tricks and tips of mixing and mixing front of house, mixing monitors, which they do respectively for Van Halen or Iron Maiden. I should get that right because I got Yakubowski on next week. He might have something to say about me misquoting who works for what, because he's Van Halen. Or Pooch and Rybold, another really strong show. I have no problem cross-pollinating with my friends' shows. I support them and I love what they do, and I couldn't. We're doing the rock and roll Johnny Carson thing. That's what we do here. They do something slightly different, or Michael Lawrence and Churnside, Kyle are different. Kyle and Chris Leonard over at Signal Illinois. These are great resources. You got some free time, you're kicking it. I know there's 1,000 choices for you out there, but these are great resources. Some extraordinarily accomplished people bringing on other accomplished people to discuss the nuts and bolts, the ins and outs of what we do, and it's an incredibly valuable resource. So I highly suggest you go to these places.
Their perspectives are one of a kind.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about industry-leading professionals that really are going out of their way to give you not just like the overview of something, but their way of approaching it, which you can interpret it your own way, add whatever, judge it. You know, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they want critical feedback. They want insightful questions. They want it all, and there's a push and pull to that. And the other stuff is you can just sit and kind of absorb stuff and take what you want and leave what doesn't make sense to you. But
yeah, if it's boring, you put it on double speed, you cruise right through that thing.
You're talking about when Michael Lawrence talks, right? I'm just joking, Michael. Michael, I was playing right there. I was totally joking. He's a badass in his own right, and I highly support what they do. Can't recommend it enough.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Well, other than that, man, we're just trying to pluck along. We're knocking off the cobwebs, like I was saying, getting a little bit of new faces in the building, which is feeling nice. They all seem like they're on top of their game, and
yeah, it was cute. We have a couple new kids in the mix. Smart. These kids nowadays are not like when I was their age. I was a little miscreant, little hell-raising, troublemaking punk rocker, and when I was their age, I knew when to shut the hell up around the old dudes, especially because they were like chucking wedges at my heads and throwing fucking mics and shit, when they were unhappy. We roll a little differently, these kids. So we went out to lunch. We had a big Italian lunch today with the crew, and we had to throttle back one of the kids just to tell them slow your roll. You get on the team in a minute. Just it's fun with them. It's fun to see the kind of the excitement and the kind of that stuff that goes on with new hires, and trying to express themselves and see where they fit in. And so I feel like we're lucky. It's a very different environment than when I was coming up in this business. When me and my brother came up in the '80s, there was a lot of stuff going on. Rock and roll was a very different environment. There was sex, drugs, and TVs flying out windows. That happened. That was some real shit. And nowadays, it's these kids come in super bright and excited and pre-packed with a lot of good information, and then we have to unpack that and put in the right shit. And so I have fun.
Like you're too happy. We need to knock you down a few legs. This fucking guy. Don't listen to him solely. There's other views in this.
Totally. I just named like 6 other people you can listen to. But my years of experience and my gray beard say I have some point of view that may benefit folks from being in the mix for a minute. And I got love for everybody, so I want to see it all work out. And
you didn't send one of the new hires out for a cable stretcher or nothing.
No.
I'm very proud of you.
I thought about it. I thought about it, and I thought, not a good use of the resource. I'm gonna.
Usually it's like, oh, you're doing 4-aught? You should over-under that. I'll stop. I'm sorry.
That is great. I'm actually not that bad, Chris. I guess thinking I'm never going there. Never. No, listen, here at Sound Image, we do it the Sound Image way. We have a little fun in the in-betweens, but Sound Image is a 50-year company with a really industry standard, and we play that very sincere. We're very sincere about what Dave Shadone has created in this business, and we honor that. So we have a little fun with the kids, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to grow them up to be the best audio professionals and production professionals that we can make, and I find that to be an incredibly exciting and interesting thing that we do, and I take it very seriously. As you know, I can be a very serious man.
He takes it very seriously. He just doesn't want you to smile fully. He just needs to be at like a 70, and he'll be happy. Then you're pro.
There's a little bit of that, I won't lie. Anyways,
I love you.
No said, you're the best, bro. Thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to give a special shout out to Mikey this day. If you've been watching the show, you know who Mikey is. Mikey's the Octopus. He's our executive producer, owner of this show. He does everything for us. He's the head of my audio department and our Sound Image's audio department. So he's a busy man in his own right. And then I rush him out here around 6:15 to start whacking away at this thing, and we're running, comm and ears and mics and all the stuff that he's got to do on his side, and with his workload as it is, it's a lot. So thank you, Mikey, for all you do for us, buddy. You're the best. Brother. We certainly appreciate you. Listen, thanks for being here. Thanks for all you do as well. You're okay. And I tolerate you the best I can. It's working out for the most part.
That's fair.
Yeah. So
I get the trifecta of your face every single day, so I gotta weigh out which one I'm gonna take seriously.
Let me light a cigarette really quick. I'm gonna take a drink from this right here. While I ask Chris some questions from this guy.
Sometimes you ask me questions, and I'll just stare at his mug and respond to it. You never know.
Yeah, it's probably the right thing to do. All right, I'm gonna talk to Chris because I'm excited he's being here.
I know you picked out a good nugget.
All right, guys, let me do this. All right, Mikey, here we go. Tonight, we have an incredibly accomplished mix engineer who's come up from the House of Worship audio world. He's then transitioned into the mixing for such artists as Kendrick Lamar. Badass. If you guys know anything about Kendrick Lamar, that's a sound image client as well. Extraordinary person, extraordinary artist. Jennifer Lopez and Pharrell Williams, just to name a few. Currently, he is out with, CISA and mixing monitors. And we'd like to welcome to the show the one and only Chris Lee. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I am sitting here giggling, like laughing. You guys are hilarious. Like, the banter is amazing. Thank you for having me.
It's truly our pleasure. It really is. We've been looking after you, watching you from afar. You know, I mentioned to you before, most of the guests I have on the show are friends that I've worked with for many, many years, and there's so many of us, that's a little different than it used to be in the old days. There's a lot of really talented people out there, which I consider you certainly one of those. And so I'm at a slight disadvantage, and I like it, that we don't know each other personally. I think you're maybe the second person that's been on the show that I don't have a personal relationship with, but I've been admiring your work for quite some time. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, Vince, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, my friend, let me ask you, now this is just the origin story. The folks like this one. I actually know a little bit about your origin story. I find it to be very interesting. Can you tell us what got you into the business?
I grew up in a large house of worship in Southern California, attended by Sheila E. and a lot of other prominent musicians. And I just really was intrigued with audio, from a young age. I was gravitated towards cables and microphones and wanted to know how it connected and all that stuff. So I was fortunate to have like a lot of really high-ranking engineers in the church at that time. They kind of took me under their wing and say, "Hey, I know you're interested. Come in here. Let me show you what's happening."
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got started.
It's amazing how many. I was talking to you about Yakubowski, hopefully coming on next week. Yakubowski has he's Aerosmith and Van Halen. He's one of the top rock guys. Now, you wouldn't know this if you talked to Jim Yakubowski. He's a very buttoned down, very placid, very sweet man. But he's one of the top, hard rock mix engineers in the world, and he's known as the Yak, as you probably know. And and he's got a big church background, and many of us in this industry have had come through the church, that avenue of sound in some of the bigger ones. And I believe yours was one of the big guys down in L.A. Is that correct?
Yeah. I've worked for a lot of churches down in L.A. Faithful Central, West Angeles, City Refuge, a lot of big churches down in L.A., which are massive. Faithful Central used to own the Forum at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
talk about big. Hallowed halls, the Forum.
Yeah.
That is a place that some of the best rock shows in America have taken place.
One of my favorite venues.
Yeah, it's a special place. We mentioned that you work with the amazing Kendrick Lamar. This guy is so singular. He's such a special talent. I mean, talk to us about your experiences when this is a sound image customer or client of ours. And I know we've had I guess a couple years back when he was, I think, was it called the Championships Tour or something like that?
Championship Tour, yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating stuff. Talk to us about your experience with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, so I've been with Kendrick for the last, I'm going on 8 years now. So I've seen his meteoric rise just catapult into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
But the one thing about Kendrick is that he's always remained the same cat, just the same humble, comes in the room, speaks to everybody, in a rehearsal, shakes hands, just down to earth, good cat, but phenomenally talented, in this day and age of just a lot of, I call it popcorn rap cats, just get into it just for the likes and the gram and all that stuff. He's one of the cats that's like still true to the art form. He comes on stage and he can do a song that's never been done in the last like 5 years, but remembers the lyrics, verbatim, just without a teleprompter, without a lyric sheet, without somebody feeding into his ears. He's true to the craft. He's one of the rare few.
He's a deep cat. He's an
Yeah.
extraordinary talent. A great
Yeah.
writer. That's what I was
Yeah.
able to kind of take from him. Is that just his writing, his thought process is extraordinary. But I know he also brings a big show. You know, he likes to come and perform, and he kind of can make it big and pull
Absolutely.
it back, and can be intimate, and it's just a sweet thing to see. You know, a guy with that kind of understanding of the craft and the audience and how to give and take like that. When you, I think the last time we sent you out with something was, I think it was the AL12 rig from View Audio Technica. What did you think about that rig? Do you have any fun with that thing?
The View was an amazing rig. You know, we have it out there for maybe 4 years, I think, almost. About 3 years. About 3 years. Amazing rig. I mean, delivered every single night across multiple countries. You know, we took that thing to all of Europe, to Germany, to Australia, to New Zealand. You know, it went all around the world, and it delivered every single time. I mean, honestly, there was nothing else that sounded like it.
Yeah, it's a singular system. It's very special. It's comparable to anything that's out there right now, and you know, you can put your foot in the gas and it will deliver for sure.
It will deliver for sure.
Yeah. I know that was a big bottom tour, so I bet you were shaking some organs with that system out there.
Oh yeah, we were shaking video screens loose. You know, it was happening.
You gotta love that stuff.
Oh yeah,
so fun for me. Oh, I want to do a quick shout. Let me do some housework real quick, Chris. Honey, I love you. Chris, I have the best girl in the world. I am the luckiest dude, man. I get this job that I love and a woman that is crazy about me, and I am absolutely head over heels about her. And I just got to do my quick righteousness and say, baby, your man's crazy about you. I love you, woman. All right. Sorry, I meant to do that in the beginning.
You gotta do it.
I was too busy busting Kyle's balls, you know. It's part of my
man,
job.
Keep the home happy, man. That's all I say.
Oh man. Well, you know, I don't do it artificially. It's not like I'll be in trouble or something. I'm cuckoo coconuts in love with my girl, and I just want to shout out to her once in a while. So thank you. You're very sweet for allowing me to do that.
I love it.
You know, you did a really fascinating gig recently that I want to dig around in a little bit. Now, I have some history doing some presidential stuff and know the rigmarole that goes with that. You know, the Secret Service stuff, the background checks, and that's in a normal environment. If you could call that normal at all. You know,
exactly. Not at all.
But you recently did, which is absolutely fascinating to me. You did the post January 6th. Presidential inauguration. I guess that would be the 20th to the 21st of January this year, for Joseph Biden, the inauguration for that. Can you talk to us about that? And tell us any special challenges that you had to deal with.
It was. I mean, the whole thing was interesting. You know, when we found out we were doing it, like, wait, we're actually doing an inauguration. It's actually going to happen. You know, we're actually going to go to DC. It's like, yeah, we're going, and it needs to happen right now. You know, get your stuff in. You know, so it happened. Just from flying into DC, which is extremely weird. On our flight alone, coming from LA to DC, there had to be at least, I don't know, 30 Secret Service agents, you know, extra they were bringing in. And then there were some other people that I don't know what they did, but you could tell that they probably did not exist, you know, full on, you know, just like they just came out of combat. But I mean, it was amazing to be there, but to see the city shut down like that. I mean, I've been all in crazy war-torn countries, and I've never seen that much military presence domestically.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had, military on the streets deployed. You know, we were literally in a compound, you know, razor fencing and barricades and tanks, you know, and full-on armed guards walking through the hotel. It was amazing and crazy at the same time.
I imagine there was a hint of crazy. I know about like I said, the kind of the standard security protocol that goes with a presidential event. But what you were dealing with next level shit. I mean,
it was next level.
It must have been impressive and kind of sad all at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, that it had come to that we'd have to do something like that in this unique environment. It's a unique situation. And was it fun overall after you got settled in and you got yourself behind the console? Did everything go well?
Yeah. No, it was an amazing event. I mean, you know, the guys took care of us. It was amazing. It was just, you know, just that apprehension, anxiety, like, yo, like, is everything all right? You know, looking over your shoulder.
Sure.
Because even the room we were in with Jennifer, you know, was still broken. The windows were still broken from when they actually tore into the Capitol building.
Insane.
And it was just, you know, kind of like taped up and all that stuff. And that was still there. You know, they were still finding cases the day of the inauguration. They were coming from like other parts of the Capitol building, you know, but, you know, the once it all got together and it was all settled and we were all like, okay, we're good. An amazing, amazing performance. We had a great time and we were excited to be there.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that there was still basically some war wounds, as it were, or insurrection wounds, whatever you want to call it, that you were visible to you, because I've been in that building myself and throughout DC multiple times. And there's actually bullet holes in that building still from the 1812 event. That was when the only other time something like that's happened, and it took a whole international army, a foreign body, to come over here in the form of the British to pull that shit. And there's the evidence is still there intentionally. They've left those bullet holes on purpose, so we kind of have that institutional memory of something that atrocious that we had to battle back with the whole might of the United States government and its population. And for us to have had to have dealt with that without me getting all monologuing on it too much is a friggin' disgrace and very upsetting, regardless of what the subject was, what the reasoning, what the logic, or what the politics. I don't care about that part. That it came to that you'd come in and you'd do that to the people's house like that. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. So I'm glad you got to go do that. I'm glad that all worked out the way it did, and that you brought your team and your professionalism, and apparently the artist you were with that evening was Jennifer Lopez.
Yes. Wonderful Jennifer, yeah.
Tell me about working with Jennifer Lopez. She's an extraordinary talent, just crazy good.
Yeah. Jen's a machine.
Yeah.
I mean, people can, look at it from the outside and think that it's one kind of way, but the woman is a machine. I've never witnessed anybody that is that involved with every single aspect of the show, and not like micromanaging, but like, no, this needs to be this way. This should be like this. Hey, did you hear that? No, that music is missing. There's supposed to be that. Oh, no, honey, no, you were on your mark. I mean, aware of everything. And she gives 110%. I mean, in rehearsals.
She's kind of a force of nature, huh? I mean, I've been in her world a couple times on it. I think, what was it called, The Stand, or one of The Voice or something like that. We went down and did a thing. And I just kind of watching her from a distance and thinking, my God, what just a force, just a natural force. Absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. I mean, like a sweetheart. I mean, hey baby, hey Bobby. It's like, hey Jen, how's it going? She's still like, even with all that,
Jenny
way
from the block.
she's still. That's it. She's still a big heart. I love her.
Right, very cool. Very cool. We were talking earlier in a phone call we got into before. And by the way, thank you for taking time. I know you're actually out on tour right now. You're out in the mix. You told me that there might even be a sound check going on behind you.
Yeah. I'm coming to you live from IKEA. We're doing a live event from IKEA, as you can see from the railing in the background. No, I'm kidding. I'm in the middle of a rehearsal, but I think it's gotten pushed back because I hear voices, but no musicians have started banging around yet. But
I do appreciate you cutting that into your work day and cutting, spending some time with us. It's
man, I'm honored. Come on, man. Come on.
But we had a quick talk about, there's two prime seats in the audio game, as it were, and then everything else is guys trying to work their way up into those seats typically. And of course, that's front of house and monitors. And I wanted to ask you what your thinking was. I know that you've had occasion to work in both positions and that you appear to mainly be a monitor guy now. Do you have a sensibility about this? I've always felt, and I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, that the monitor guys are the guys that are really in there in the fight, putting in the work.
I love it. I love your take. Yeah.
Listen, I am an unpopular guy because I stay with sometimes.
I love it.
And some of my best friends are literally. I got some cookies here. I don't know where the hell they went.
Oh wait! I can unarchive them.
I'm hanging out with Greg Price today. It's Greg Price. I mean, Greg Price is Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Van Halen. It was all the biggest bands that have ever been. He's literally one of the top 3 front of house guys. He brought us cookies today, and he's just the sweetest guy. I mean, I got mad love for the.
I mean, mind you, there was 3 cookies missing when he gave it to us. So.
I mean,
of course there was 3 cookies. He does that because he comes over to our craft services. He's also got an office here in the building, and he comes over to our craft service and he nibbles. and then and so he'll eventually come with this big old load of cookies and put them on my desk, and in a kind of a very sweet gesture. He's that guy. He's just the sweetest guy. He's one of the top engineers in the world, the top front of house engineers in the world, and what he does, I find very few people can work at that level. So don't get me wrong. I love me some front of house guys. I mean, I really do. It's just a different job. It is. They might be both working on consoles, but you're doing very different things. What you thinking on this subject?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely evolved. I mean, I started off in the analog days, it was not as complicated and as detailed and as you had to have a technical sound computer mind as it is today.
Yeah.
But I mean, I started off in front house, I was gravitated towards, being that guy out front, and mixing for the audience and seeing the energy and stuff and the people that are enjoying the show. And then slowly but surely, people started calling me and say, "Hey man, can you mix monitors?" It's like, yeah, I can do that. I never frowned upon it. I never, that's beneath me,
Absolutely.
So I was like, yeah, I want to work. I'm open to whatever, And, I started getting more and more calls from monitors, and people were like, dude, like, it's never been like this with us, from one band to the next artist, the next artist. And, my reputation just started, growing. And honestly, I found out, that kind of work a little bit more, being a monitor engineer, you rehearse, a lot longer than you would if you were a front house engineer for a lot of situations,
That's right.
I find myself going on, shows just by myself as a monitor engineer. The artist will take the monitor engineer before they take the front house guy. So, it's been a blessing, moving into that position, as far as financial gain. But I mean, it's definitely a different feel, definitely in this day and age now with, time code and talkback mics and crazy snapshots and everybody having to communicate. You definitely find yourself having to grow another arm to try to do all these different things to appease and accommodate everybody else that's in that backstage world.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a very different position and different requirements, and
absolutely.
I find that it seems it's like a difference between a guitarist and a bass player. There's a character difference. There's just a makeup thing that's going on. And some of us can jump back and forth, but I feel like there's it's a sweet spot, and when you find it and it fits right with you, you're there, you're home. And,
exactly.
And then it turns out it's not for everybody that can actually run a board. Some folks just have a temperament that is not suited for this position.
No. It's a customer service position.
It really
definitely
is.
There to serve everybody else that's there. I mean, it's not your opinion. It's like, hey, what do you need? Okay, here, I'm going to give you what you need. And dealing with the artists and artist friends and guests and whoever else. It's just learning how to manage personalities.
Sure. Absolutely. Well said. The customer service line, I'm owning that one. That's really good. That's solid. I noticed you had put up a couple posts recently. You found a new love. You found a new rabbi out there, and I believe it's called the Digico Quantum 338. Talk to me, baby.
Yes.
Weren't you an SD7 guy or something for a long time?
I was an SD7 guy. I got into the SD7 Quantum all of 2019. I added, with Jennifer Lopez and amazing. Then, 2020, top of 2020, saw it at NAMM. They unveiled it at NAMM, and it was like, oh, this is amazing. And then the world shut down, and then I was like, I still want that Quantum. And, November of 2020, we were doing the Dick Clark Rock and New Year's Eve in New York City.
Sure.
And we went to New York to go rehearse, for several weeks. And I was like, hey, you got a Quantum? They were like, yeah, we got a Quantum. Bring it out. Let's get on this thing. And got on it. And I was like, I really like this desk. First, I was worried if I was going to be able to fit my show on that desk and actually make it work, but fit nicely. I was able to do some other things that I didn't, wasn't able to do before. And I'm in love. I'm in love.
Digico is a hell of a company. They really make a great product.
Amazing.
Yeah, good for you, man. You should be on the best newest shit. Making it your bitch and running wild with it. I mean, excuse my vernacular, but everybody's used to it.
Apologize, man. That's me. I'm just in a mixed company, so I don't know who's around.
So you're saying you speak French? You're just not.
Oh yeah. I just can't do it right now. Yeah.
Okay. I understand completely.
I'm with you.
I noticed that. I know you do a lot of touring, a lot of traveling, I should say.
Yeah.
And you made a stop. Now there's so many places around the world that to go and do things, and from Dubai to just a wide palette of experiences. But one of the big dogs in the mix is got to be Glastonbury. I mean, it's just such a legendary spot, stop on a tour. And I know you took Pharrell Williams out there. Talk to us about that, man.
Yeah, I mean that was amazing. I mean, first of all, that tour that we did was literally we were in a different country every day.
Yeah.
Get on a jet and fly from one place to the next, with 2 systems leapfrogging, from one country to the next, advanced team. And that was crazy. So Glastonbury, I think, was right in the middle of our whole run. And I mean, it's the world famous Glastonbury. It's an amazing, amazing festival. It's like everybody's like bucket list. Glastonbury. And phenomenal. I don't know about getting stuck out there, not being able to get back, it's like, once you're out there, it's like, hey, we went on right before Kanye West, and it was like, by that time, it's like, I'm not getting out there. So me and my tech, Ollie, we were like, yeah, we're stuck out here, man. Let's just have fun, let's enjoy the rest of the show.
Enjoy the ride.
But, phenomenal. I definitely brought a lot of things home on my shoes, after that show. I don't know what, was on there, but it was DNA, feces. It was all kind of stuff.
Mixed
bag, the whole experience.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Exactly. It can get a little zesty from
zesty. Yeah. That's a good adjective.
There's been some weird world politics thing, and traveling is not as easy as it used to be, particularly now with COVID. I can only imagine what that's going to add layers to that. But speaking of the United Kingdom, in a general way, I know there's a lot of concerns out there. Is there any, as it relates to what Brexit will do to affect, in a negative way, the touring industry as it relates to stuff like carnies and passports access? Do you have any insights on this or concerns about this going forward? Because it's happening and it's going to
No. I mean, I've talked about it, with some TMs, with some PMs, even with some buddies that live over there, the Wigwam buddies, my SSC buddies, over there on the other side.
Yeah.
And just, it's going to be interesting to find out how this even works, like having a rig in the UK and then that's it, and then having another rig for everything else that happens. Outside of that, flying the crew to another country and then getting on different buses and trucks, to travel and continue touring, which is completely, unheard of. You're used to just, get on that ferry and taking that nice little submarine ride, to the next, country and coming back and crossing. But I can't even fathom, how they're going to handle that, is alone.
I know there's a lot of panic between promoters and vendors and manufacturers on this, and of course artists, how this is going to play out, because it's such a pivotal part of a European tour is what you do in the UK, and this is of course Northern Ireland. This is all the bodies of the UK, Scotland, and Wales, and I hope they sort that out, because I feel like that is still a part of the mix that has not been sorted and answers have not come forth, and I can imagine it being super unpleasant if it doesn't get sorted out properly and have a very detrimental turn towards the touring industry and live performances in a general way. So hopefully they get that sorted out between.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Fingers crossed. Hey, listen, I'm going to jump over to a slightly different subject, and see if we can bear with me on this. This industry is a very specific industry. There's only so many of us. There's more than ever, but we're still a very small percentage of the population. And in this population, in the live audio, there seems to be a lot of males and a lot of white people, and not very many females and not many African Americans. And I was wondering if you had any special challenges as an African American in finding your way through the live entertainment industry, the audio industry. Is there anything that we could be doing better that would make you know how welcome and how appreciative we are of your incredible skill?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it all starts with just erasing, whatever misconceptions, whatever stereotypes you may have, whatever things that you built up in your head about people, Black folks, women, anything, just erase that. Let's wipe the slate clean. I being, young and Black coming up, it was definitely like, hey, who are you? Are you the stagehand? Or it's like, no, I'm the engineer. I'm mixing. You definitely get that. I've had that, and just long bus rides. You have those long 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, discussions where it's like, hey, people think a certain way, and it's like, nah, it's not like that. This is what it is. This is what this is.
Sure.
I find myself, always trying to have those conversations and just educating and not being the person that's defensive and always wants to, say this and this and that. It's like, no, let me hear what you have to say, and then let's talk about it. Let's discuss.
Yes.
Let's get a better understanding of what things really are. Because I understand some people, they just don't know. You just don't know.
Right.
And it's not saying that this person is this way or that way. Some people just don't know.
It's not evil, and it's ignorance. I think is what I hear you saying.
Exactly. Sure. And it's like you can learn a lot by just having a conversation back and forth and just listening to somebody and then talking. It's like, hey, this is what it is. This is what this is.
Well,
and I find myself having a lot of those, over the years on tour buses, in the back
Sure.
lounge, in the front lounge, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, off days, whatever.
Absolutely.
Let's talk.
Well, I think that a lot of people could benefit from the lessons that we learn in the traveling and the interacting with the different cultures and communities. And I mean, I'm not just talking about in another country. I'm not talking South America here. I'm talking about Kansas. I'm talking about Missouri. I'm talking about Florida and parts of Texas. Just by traveling, first of all, the way you can understand we're all just people. You get to start to get that, and you understand why maybe they have some of these conservative thought processes or these poorly informed cultures and ways of doing things. And that I think if more people traveled and read, racism and ignorance would go down a great deal, and we'd have a much better country. Which we're very lucky to be here in America. It's a wonderful place, but we could always improve in certain areas, and I wish for that and hope for that. And
Absolutely,
it's one of those very interesting things, and we're always kind of in a transitional space and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. But you said it the right way. It's traveling and getting outside of your comfort.
Yes.
Some people are so stuck in where they are. It's like, you'll never be able to get experience other things unless you get outside the box and see other things for what it is.
Exactly. It's critically important. I cannot say that enough. There are some extraordinary places in this country, and I wish more people would avail themselves to visiting them. New Orleans, Atlanta, some of these extraordinary places. One of my favorite cities, Detroit, constantly hammered Detroit. Fun place to go.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite houses, the Fox up there, is one of the most beautiful venues on the planet. It's just like weird stuff like that, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't get that opportunity, and I think we're not better because of it. So, anyway, I was wondering if you could. This is kind of a tricky question, a little ethereal, a little vaporous, but if you could share your mixing philosophy with us.
Ooh, mixing philosophy. This is.
I've had interesting answers to this.
It's like
question.
The most technical question you've asked.
It's not really my style, but I like this guy. I want to hear what he's thinking.
Honestly, I always try to be true to what the music is.
Sure.
Whatever the music is and how it's played on the record, I try to invoke that in my mix. Unless they say, hey, go this way, do this, do that. I'm not throwing in a crazy reverb. There's no crazy reverb there, know. But it's really getting to the music and listening to the music and becoming the music. A lot of people don't listen to these records. They just go in and just start mixing and doing things based on their preference and how they view they think it should sound. But it's like if you just listen to the album and listen to how it was mixed and recorded, that's what you want to be able to bring to the artists or to the masses that are listening to the music. And so that's mainly my thing is trying to stay true to how it was recorded in my mix.
Well, very, very clever. It makes perfect sense. I think sometimes people tend to overcomplicate. They know the amount of technology that's in front of them. They can get caught in the layers of the onion, and the different, as you're peeling back a capability of a board and all the plugins and all the outboard gear, all the stuff that can go into the thing, and you can get lost in the technology and forget that, a big part of what you should be, maybe a really important bit of gear that you have is your ears and sensibility and love of the music. And of course, it does help to do a little bit of, like you mentioned, kind of staying true to what the artist is and does, and to understand that. So I think a little research into the artist you're about to do and work with, it goes a long way. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you how your current tour is going. You're out with SZA?
Yeah, SZA, yeah. We've been doing recently, she did the Billboard Music Awards. We did that with Doja Cat. And then we started doing some really interesting, I pride myself on being this guy that's done some weird shows, like, the out of the ordinary. And the first thing we did was a show for Amex up in Goleta. And it was at some private, ranch or whatever. And the first shot was like, it was 3 separate shots. So it was like, hey, we're gonna do one. It's an RV, and she's gonna be performing in an RV, but we still want you guys in the back mixing. But you can't be in the RV, so we're gonna put you in a flatbed truck and mix while the band and her are singing. So we're literally traveling on this dirt road behind her while she's singing the RV and we're mixing. Just that's just what's been happening. I've been with SZA for the last 5 years. Her and Kendrick are on the same label TDE. So I've been with her for a while now. But yeah, just she's an amazing sweetheart. Very, very spiritual. Very about everybody being one tune with the music and the whole vibe. So I love her spirit. It's been fun. We did another thing in a dome with these crazy racing drones flying around, in a garden oasis they created, in this dome. And those are things that I'll never forget. That I'll share. And people are like, yo, what are you doing? So I like to post things so people can see, what's happening. I try to give like a little scenario and stories and be funny about it. People are like, yo, what are you guys doing, man? This looks crazy, But those are the kind of gigs that I love. I'll do whatever, as long as I'm not naked running around, no embarrassing myself,
So that's the caveat. You'll do the gig as long as there's no nudity required. Is that what I'm hearing?
No nudity from myself.
Okay. Okay.
I can get. I do a fig leaf. Just little something. I don't want to be out there living on the internet forever. But
that's very funny. Now I kind of was paying, like I mentioned earlier in the intro. I had been following your career from a distance from social media and some of our shared friends that, admire your work. And I noticed you actually were able to keep, correct me if I'm wrong, keep yourself pretty busy during the downtime. You were doing, what you're doing, was it a lot of streaming and events like that?
I was, streaming. I mean, once the late night shows came back, the morning shows, that exploded.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing like a live concert, a live virtual concert. And I tend to say I whore myself out a lot, when I'm doing audio. I say yes to everything and figure it out later. So I'm like the audio whore, like, hey, I can do it, I'll figure it out,
Yeah.
And so that kind of paid off during the pandemic because a lot of the artists that I work with, were the artists that were actually doing stuff during the pandemic. And once people started getting COVID tests and they understood about that, and people knew that you were, trying to be smart and be careful with everything, then they were like, yeah, let's go.
Sure.
So no, I was fortunate enough to stay really busy during COVID, and it was amazing, and I considered a blessing. Thank you. My family, we're thankful because being an engineer, it's always you don't know what the next thing is. But with COVID, it was like damn, I don't know what's really going to happen. And so I was thankful to continue working, and to see everybody else around us working. But
Michael Pollard just chimed in and said, trademark Chris Lee Adventures.
What's up? Yeah. Lots of adventures during this COVID one. There was all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's good. That's the stuff that we, that's what we come away with. Sure, we get the money and stuff that comes and goes, but the memories, these last a lifetime. I got stuff
Absolutely.
back as early as '81, so it's fascinating and super fun.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I mentioned earlier that, there's some folks that went away from the industry, some folks couldn't wait that long, some folks had side talents that they leaned into and then went off to IT and so on and so forth.
Right.
And some of the younger kids that largely these, that have graduated from SAE, Expressions, Full Sail, so on and so forth, who kind of popping up into the woodwork and they're getting a little bit to peek out and get an opportunity. And so I've got a few of them I'm working with currently. And I was wondering if you had any advice for the young kids coming up in the business.
Ooh. I will definitely say this for all the young ones that are coming up. Make sure that you learn every aspect of the job.
Yes.
Don't be so quick to just get on the console and want to mix. learn how to fly PA, you know, learn how to, assess the power, learn how to meter the power, learn how to scan, know how to do your RF, learn how to just troubleshoot. It's not all about mixing and plugins and crazy mics and all that stuff. It's about troubleshooting, being the person who understands everything. So if something goes wrong, that you realize and you're well aware of how to fix that problem. I would say always make sure that you surround yourself in groups, where you're not the smartest guy in the group. If you're the smartest guy in the group, you need to find another circle of groups of people, so that you aspire to be better. A lot of people can get complacent, and it feels good to be that guy, who's the mover and the shaker. But make sure that you're always challenging yourself. We're always learning. I'm always learning. Yeah. Never arrived. I'm not the best. I'm not the greatest. No, I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly reading things. Like you guys mentioned about all these different, things that are available to us now, free of cost. Yeah. I was in the midst of everything else. I'm still reading things. I'm still attending webinars. I'm still learning about different stuff. I'm still reading articles about certain things, because I always want to learn, always want to be better. So that's the thing. Never stop learning.
I couldn't agree with you, but that's really excellent advice. I can't tell you how many young folks come in here with a perception that they have some skills, and they come in the door and we'll put them out in front of something. They'll peel up and put their white gloves on, and they'll. Wait a minute, no.
Where's the console? Put me towards the console.
I mean, and I get it. It's thrilling and fun, but there's so much more to this business, and I need you to also be great at. And it's so critical that, like you said, really, at the end of the day, we're firefighters. When something jumps out, I need you to know what that is.
Exactly.
And the invaluableness, the extraordinary value to being able to deal with stuff on the fly, to be able to be that guy, to be able to, it's just critical.
That's missing.
Kyle's this way. This young man, my guy here, who I bust his chops, but I
try not to touch cases and keep my gloves white, people.
No. Kyle's for a young man, what are you, 30, 31?
I'm 31. Yeah.
He's extraordinarily talented. He knows all aspects of the game, and it's, he can fly it. He knows the electric. He knows the signal flow. He knows it all. And
absolutely.
And he's constantly evolving his skills. Like we talked about in the beginning. Keeping up with the this job doesn't stand still. It doesn't. The technology is always evolving. There's always more. And so I love what you just said. Excellent advice. I hope the youngsters out there are hearing you and understanding to get to where you're sitting. That takes time, and that takes practice and concentration and care for the job. And so just really, really great stuff. Ooh, there's a little spider running across my desk. He's not anymore though. I stopped that. Little trespassing bastard. I don't go to his house and run around. I mean, what the hell? So I'm just saying.
I would have a story to share, but somebody might be mad. I'll just stop right now.
Let me ask you, Chris. Right now we're in a little bit of a funny time. We were able to come out.
Yeah.
You and me and many of us have been very careful and mindful to keep our health up and, do the community things that were critical for us to be around other people. Our business is one of those businesses that simply could not avoid this situation and had to be pliable and responsible to the science behind it. What do you think in the unique, let's say, not political, but the unique medical state that the world finds itself in right now, what do you think the future of live shows, immediate future of live shows holds? Do you anticipate any bumps in the game? It's a little funny right now.
Yeah, it's definitely in a weird state. We're kind of like at this, like, okay, you go first. You go. Let me see how many shows you're gonna do. What are you gonna do? It's trying to figure out. See, everybody's waiting to see what the next person's gonna do, and then the outcome of what they're doing. I honestly think that it's going to move forward, continue to move forward. I just don't know it's going to move forward at the pace that we expected or wanted to move forward. I think it's going to start to roll out a little bit slower, as things progress, depending on what happens with this new variant. I think that there are going to be some more people, companies, Live Nation, these big houses where they're going to start imposing, vaccination, cards already. And different things. Yeah.
Another Planet, Live Nation, Golden Voice. They're already saying, you want to come play? You got to play under these rules. And
exactly.
And, and if you want to play, you going to have to follow the rules. And,
Yeah.
And I personally don't have a problem with that. And I haven't met any of our cohorts that have, but I know some folks are, they're adverse to being told which way to walk and which direction to go. And if they just keep in mind the community aspect of that, it's for the better of all of us. And that we can all get out there and practice our profession and go out and help make memories for folks that, we get to do this pretty regularly. And these folks that come to what we do are coming because they're trying to escape their daily humdrum, their thing. And this is an honored position we hold. We get to help them create a memory for that night. We're going to run on and go to the next place, but they're going to take that back to the water cooler and they're going to say, "Oh man, you should have seen what Jenny Lopez did last night. It was phenomenal." What a wonderful thing to be a part of. And so I'm willing to do what I got to do to make that happen. I think you're one of those guys that feels the same way. I would hope that our friends and brethren and sisters would feel similarly, and we can continue the forward progress that we've made recently, because I'm enjoying it. I'm happy to be back at work. I'm happy to be running to you, coming in here and trying to do the show with you in a breathless.
I saw you guys. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. I told somebody, I was like, "Yo, I'm tired of doing these live. I'm thankful for the live streams, but I'm tired of doing live streams. I want to see an audience. I want to do stuff, with people again. I want to be able to go and, have these meetups at festivals and, we're in the same city. Let's grab dinner, that stuff. I want to get back to that, just hanging out with my buddies, man.
We're social animals. It's going against our very nature. And then you and I, folks like us, have put our foot even further into that kind of mix. And it's something that you crave. It's hard to get it out of your blood. There's a certain nomad quality to it, and getting to be with your friends and get that certain satisfaction that comes from a job well done. And so it's hard to replace it. It's one thing people were worried about, the live streaming of concerts and stuff. And I said, don't worry, there's just no way you're going to download the experience of a live concert. You can simulate it, but you ain't replacing that out wholesale. It just can't happen. So our professions are pretty secure, I believe, and I think that's
absolutely
right.
And I think we proved through COVID that there is no money in it. And we need to go back to live performances.
It depends on the caliber of your game.
Probably Chris has
some of his talent. and some of when Kanye wants to do something on the internet, he's going to do well at that, I imagine. You know what I mean? Or Jenny or those types of artists. But, it's not as easy as it sounds, I imagine.
No, absolutely not. No. And it's really a one-trick pony. It's not going to be something that's going to be a sustaining model. It's just like, okay, here's a big event. Okay, everybody does this. You see the numbers, but it's not going to be something you can continue to repeat. People want to be in contact with one another and experience it live. I want to feel that kick drum, in my chest. I want to see those lights. I want to see the lasers. I want to, smell the beer, on the floor. I want to all that. I want that.
I couldn't agree with you more. From your lips to God's ears, my friend, it has been an absolute delight, a total treat to have you on this show. I really appreciate you cutting away and breaking away and coming out here with us. It's just been wonderful. I hope you have continued success on the road and that things stay the way that we're going this minute, and that it keeps on regenerating into more shows and more work, and that we don't have any problems there. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with my audience your experiences.
You guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You be well out there. Travel safe, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, right?
What a treat.
I want to work with this guy. I'm going to try to steal him away from whoever he's working with and get him in our camp, because what a sweetheart of a guy. Did I say that out loud?
He's giving you the good luck face right now.
He's a man. So good. Listen, I was negligent on the opening of the show because I got excited. I'm happy, and I'm doing what I do. But our dear friend Lee Wilkinson, now he's an interesting cat. He's an audio guy. He's out there in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, of all places. We have friends in all these strange places, Japan, Norway, and it's really. And he sent me some brain coral. He goes out on the beach there and he hunts stuff that comes in the sea, and this thing is beautiful. It's really unique and different, and we get some really cool things in the mail from our friends and our supporters, people in the audience. So I want to thank Lee Wilkinson. Thank you so much.
Lee, we'll make sure he doesn't use it as an ashtray.
Yeah, I'm not going to put anything on that. I'm going to leave it the way it is, all pretty in the way God made it. And I appreciate Lee because Lee is from a different political persuasion than I am, and he's very vocal about his beliefs, and he still tolerates me for some reason or another with my liberal leanings. And so I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Lee, for not blocking me or something, for me being my way and you being your way. You know, it shows that the people of the different opinions and persuasions and ideas can still share a common thing, and like we do with audio and the love of music. So I appreciate the gift very much. You're a good man. Your continued support, we appreciate very much. I hope things are going well for you over in Cuba. You know, we do this every week. We appreciate all the people that come. We know you got 1,000 places to be. There are choices galore and the internet and the larger world, cable, blah, 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 all the different things you can do. And you come here and spend some time with us. We seriously appreciate it. We are working our asses off and running our, you know, the thing I actually get paid for, which is building shows and putting them into the world and putting people out there. And so for you to come here with us while we're trying our best to provide people like Chris Lee here that are extraordinary and interesting, we appreciate that. We do this out of love and concern for the job and care for you folks. And so thank you for coming here. Last week, we promised that we'd have Bernie Broderick. Now, Bernie Broderick, as you know, if you've watched the show, is one of my bestest friends in the world. He is a dear, dear, close personal friend, and he is the resident genius here. He was up in Canada, and he was going to be on last week, and he had to run off and handle some family business, and so we honor that, of course. So we're gonna try to snag him up. He's coming back tonight, I believe. He's been gone for, about a week? And I think he's coming back tonight, so we'll corral him and put a leash on him and get over here in the chair, and he'll tell us about some of his new products. You know, he's a loudspeaker designer and really one of the foremost speaker designers in the world.
Yeah, I think you got one of his tests of the Kyrie.
Yes, I actually have. Yeah, me. You don't have yours yet.
Very nice of you, Bernie.
Bernie, you know.
I want my speaker
Bernie,
back.
you got to give Kyle the damn speaker. And Mikey, he can't really say anything because he's over there. He's waving right now. Mikey just threw a hand up. You got to give him his speaker. Goddammit, they gave you the money. Now we love you, Bern, but want the speakers. But I did get mine, and I think that's the first or second one. I don't want to.
We'll pull it out next show. But if Bern isn't here, we'll put some googly eyes on it. We'll talk for him.
It's an absolute incredible little bit of technology. You know, he again one of the top speaker designers in the planet. That's not that's not hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. He is that. He designed the Anya rig behind me, or was a part of the team that designed that, and a lot of the L-acoustic stuff and the Adams and stuff. He's a badass. He's a friggin' legend, and he's our brother. So he's going to sit right that chair, and he's going to tell us why you should buy one of his new Bluetooth speakers, which are handcrafted badassery at its finest. And I've reached out to Pooch, our dear, dear good friend Pooch from Iron Maiden and Linkin Park and all the great things that Pooch does. And we're going to try to get him come in here and do a checkup segment with us and see if he can spend 8 or 10 minutes telling us what he's getting up to currently. And then the dear, wonderful, just legendary mix engineer that is Jim Yakubowski, the Yak. We're going to hopefully have him in here, and he's going to share what he's been up to since we've talked to him last. And
I think you should tell him we don't have his book, so he brings another copy.
That'd be pretty cool. What was that book? It was like $680 or something on the internet.
First edition. You got another one for his Jim.
The legendary Charlie Zaricki sent me his copy.
That's right.
Charlie's a god.
I still have your copy, Charlie, hidden in my bag. I'm not.
Yeah, I need that back, you little bastard. No, you give me the damn book back. I swear to God, I will take one of these knives and gut your gizzard out.
All right.
Charlie. I promise I'll go to the mat for you on this one. He's not going to win. So, Charlie, I'm going to get your book back so I can have it and just have it.
Let me read it a couple more times.
And then you're going to share it back with me. Greg Price shared a book with me today. I forget what the hell it's called. It's called Loadout or something that this gal wrote from soundgirls.org. We'll talk about it next week, but he's featured in the book. And I was having a meeting with Greg earlier. He said, you got to read this. It's really good. So I'll talk about it next week. Apparently, it's a really good book about the industry, and it talks with a couple really leading engineers in the industry. And I guess they captured Greg's thoughts, and he's in the book. So I'll read it between now and then and talk to you guys. Yeah, it looks like a real good read. So
you hear that, Mike? He said he'd read it to us.
You guys just get around the fire. I'll go. We'll get some cocoa. Maybe some s'mores. We'll make s'mores.
This is a treat. This sounds like date night.
Grab some gerbils or something. We'll light them on fire and just like.
Whoa! I don't know where you're going with that. But I'm interested.
Look at his. He's like he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm just joking, guys. Listen, these s'mores aren't going to cook themselves. That's all I gotta say. Listen again, so that's the lineup for next week. Come on back. We're going to do this again. We're going to try to keep it together best we can. I'm slowly parting out everything in this building to get it out on the road. So maybe the next time you see us, we'll have like a boom box back here and a flashlight.
It'll just be like one bar can.
It's going to be what it's going to be, goddammit. Well, please come back next Thursday, 7 p.m., Thursday night, right here at Beyond the Backstage Pass. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Take care of yourself.